I really liked what you said earlier, James, because it really ties into my point about how you said you didn't like Gary Kane because he reminded you of Michael Scott from The Office. But that is the point. I mean, you're not supposed to like Gary King. He is not the hero here. You're not David. But because that's what I feel like, because a lot of people have told me that they don't like The Office just for that reason. They're like, I can't stand Michael Scott. And I'm like, you're not supposed to like him. I'm like, he is the person that you're like, no, he's uncomfortable, he's awkward, he's strange, and he's wrong, and it is. And it's the same thing with Gary Kane. Gary, he kind of wants the good, but his definition of a good time is flawed. And you know that. And it takes the whole movie to change that, to expose his sin and his disappointment with life and how it is mostly his fault. He has to come to some sort of accountability. When Andy says to him, near the end, like, how do you know if you're drunk if you're never sober? And I love that line because it really indicates what Gary King is all about. And that line indicates that there is a higher moral good, right, wrong, even if they never actually explore it. But it indicates that. You have to get there logically, even if they reject it in this movie saying that there's no God or whatever. And that's where the movie ultimately gets messy, is when they actually try to define what the good is. They're like, it's just good friendship, it's about having good friends to rely on, and that is shallow and less than satisfying. And it would take more than that to change somebody. And I just was thinking of Ephesians 5:11 when it says, take no part in the unfruitful works of darkness, but instead expose them. And again, I think this movie does expose all his sins. And like in each pub, you kind of learn a bit more about Gary King. He's selfish, like we've already established that with Rory's point. He's actually a bully. And you find that out on the pub where Peter's confessing how he was bullied, and Gary just doesn't care. Like, he's like, shots. He's ready to, again, self-serving glory. He just wants to finish this. He doesn't care that Peter was bullied. And he even says in the first monologue that, like, yeah, we normally wouldn't hang out with somebody like Peter, but he was mentored. He had a lot of money, and so I don't even think that he actually liked Peter that much. And he is a bully. He bullies everyone else. And he just keeps repeating all these mistakes from the past in the when they get to the cross hands, when they first fight the aliens. He's frustrated when he goes to the bathroom and he goes to punch the wall. And then there's that same tile that he cracked all those years ago. He's just repeating all the same mistakes, and that's such a good visual of you seeing that. And again, each pub, he's just continuing to do the selfish thing, the wrong thing. And really, it's Andy who's I would say, the morally better person, even though he doesn't have a good basis for morality either. But Andy's the one that you really latch on to. Andy's the mature one. He learned a lot from his mistakes in the past, especially with that car crash. And yet he's still loyal to Gary. And in the hole in the wall pub, or I actually think it was the one before that, I don't remember. But he runs off, because he wants to go finish it. And they were all going to get in the car and leave. And Steven says, don't, man, like, don't follow him. Like, he left you. And Andy says, I can't. Like, I have to go after him. And I just saw this, like, Frodo and Sam dynamic. And, like, because Sam's the real hero. Everyone knows that. And that's how I saw kind of as Andy was the faithful friend, the solid rock, the glue that held everyone together. And he actually does help Gary expose his sin.
We hope you enjoyed this snack-sized taste of Popcorn Theology. Check out the full episode using the link in the description. Subscribe on YouTube for more content. Follow and interact on social media to share with others. And remember, you are not a mindless consumer.